So yes, guys, what we did in last class, and do you have any problem, any question regarding the last class? Any query?
No, sir.
So tell me what we were supposed to do today. Where we were?
You're in middle ear.
Middle ear, right? So we have to start with the middle ear, then internal ear, and then we have to start with the mechanism of. Then we have to do the mechanism of listening, and after the mechanism of listening, then we will go in the next chapter. That is the last chapter of human physiology. Fine. So let me open it. So yesterday we discussed the morphology or anatomical structure of rather morphology, anatomical structure of human ear, right? And this was a diagram of our external ear, internal ear. Now separately, I want to mention what is the middle ear diagram, because middle ear contain the number of the bones, right? So we have to start with the middle ear diagram. Yes. So put the heading middle ear. So the next part is, the second part is middle ear. As we have already mentioned that middle ear, it is made up of this cavity like structure, and inside the cavity there are three bones: malleus, incus, and stapes. And this cavity is this cavity remains filled with the air, and it remains connected with here with the nose part. And this the part of middle ear, or the pipe from the middle ear to nose, is called eustachian tube, and the function of this tube to maintain the pressure and remove the extra vibration, right? So this is not that much clear over here. I would like to share one more diagram which will show you clearly the structure of middle ear. And the bones which are found in the middle ear, they are called actually ear ossicles. Let me share with you the bones of middle ear. Look, there are these bones of the middle ear. Yes, these are the bones of middle ear. These bones. So, consider this is the enlargement of this diagram. So, if we enlarge this diagram, if we zoom this diagram, it will look like this one, right? So there are certain bones. So this part is called eardrum. Eardrum means tympanum membrane, right? From tympanum membrane, there is tympanum. So this is tympanum membrane. From the tympanum membrane, adherence of a bone takes place over here. This bone is a hammer-like structure. This is called malleus. So first bone is malleus. Second bone, which is incus, and the third bone is stapes. This is the smallest bone of our body, right? All these all these three bones collectively called ear ossicle. We call them ear ossicles. Collectively, we call them ear ossicles. So they are the composition of the middle ear, right? So please start noting now. The middle ear include. So what are the part of middle ear? Middle ear includes first tympanic cavity. Middle ear includes first tympanic cavity. the green part where the air is filled, that is called tympanic cavity. Second, ear ossicles, ear ossicle, full stop. Tympanic cavity, this green part. Tympanic cavity remains filled with air, remains filled with air, and remains connected with nasopharynx, means nose and pharyngeal part, pharynx part, remains connected with nasopharynx, remains connected with nasopharynx through the eustachian tube, nasopharynx through the eustachian tube, which serve equalize the air pressure, which serve equalize the air pressure in the tympanic cavity, air pressure in the tympanic cavity, with that on outside, Next one, ear ossicles. There is a small chain of three small bones. There is a small chain of three small bones called ear ossicle. There is a small flexible chain of three small bones called ear ossicle. That is malus, incus, and stapes. Malus, incus, and stapes. Next, the function of middle ear. The function of middle ear is to pass the vibration to internal ear. Full stop. The intensity of sound wave, underline this statement, the intensity of sound wave increases by 20 times with the help of ear ossicles. Full stop. In the same line, it may be noted down that frequency of sound does not changes. Middle ear clear? Fine.
Yes, sir.
So next part is internal ear. Third part is internal ear. Internal ear is also made up of the structure, a special kind of the structure which is which float on the lymph or fluid, that is called cochlea, right? Oh, it's too big. No. Internal ear. Yes. Internal ear is made up of this kind of structure. Like this is structure. Like so, this structure keep on floating on a lymph-like fluid, right? So that is called perilymph, and this is made up of these tube-like structures. So there are three tubes. These tubes are called semicircular canal. So this is the lateral semicircular canal first. This is the posterior semicircular canal second, and this is the superior semicircular canal. So these are three semicircular canals, and this round part is called cochlea, right? Cochlea and three semicircular canals. This complete structure keep on floating in a fluid-like cavity. Look, this structure keep on floating in a fluid-like structure, right? This part is basically where semicircular canals are present. This part is called organ of balance because this part is responsible for maintaining the balance. So this part makes organ of balance. And this hide part, there are these. This is made up of some tubular structure, and there are some hair, right? In cochlea there are some hair, and it passes the information to nerve tube, right? So this is called nerve tube, right? This is a auditory nerve. Auditory nerve. So in cochlea there are some hair like structure here. These are hairs are called organ of Corti, and these organ of Corti, they receive the vibration, and they transmit vibration in the form of auditory auditory messages, right? And these auditory nerve, they take the message to the brain, and then we will be able to listen the sound wave, right? So this is the structure of internal ear. Please note it down. There is an internal ear. There is a bony cavity on each side. This is bony cavity. Look, there is a bony cavity. This complete cavity is made up of bone, right? There is a bony cavity on each side enclosed in hard bone, enclosed in hard bone, and contain the perilymph, and contain the perilymph, contain the perilymph. Full stop. The latter correspond to cerebral fluid. Latter means it look like cerebral fluid. The latter corresponds to cerebral fluid. Full stop. A structure of membrane, a structure of membrane float on this one. A structure of membrane float on this lymph. Next point. Next paragraph. There are present three semicircular duct. There are present three semicircular duct, which is enlarged at one end, which is enlarged at one end, and gives rise a rounded structure, called ampulla. So these part of the canal are called ampulla, gives rise a rounded structure called ampulla. Full stop. Each ampulla contain sensory patch of cell, full stop. The sensory cell bear sensory hair, full stop. So this was the structure of internal ear, right? Give me 1 second. Look, now the next heading is mechanism of listening, and I want to share one more diagram. This diagram, right? This is the, by the way, this is the mechanism of listening. Next heading is mechanism of listening. We'll do in next page. So before going into the mechanism of listening, please let me know, is it clear to all of you? Internal, external, and middle ear. Please let me know. If you have any doubt, if you have any confusion, please ask me. Clear?
So
Yes,
this
sir.
perilymph is the name of the fluid.
Yes, perilymph is the name of fluid, and it corresponds to cerebrospinal fluid, means the fluid which is between our brain and the meninges, right?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. So put the next heading, mechanism of listening. It's very important. Mechanism of listening is very critical, very messy kind of like explanation everywhere. But I have made a notes and a flow chart for that. That will make you easy. So take the screenshot of that one only. So before going to that diagram which I have made by my hand, so I would like to make you understand how the mechanism of listening takes place, how it does occur. So put the heading, mechanism of hearing. Mechanism of hearing. Look, this is a flow chart which shows the mechanism. How does we listen? Try to understand. In case if you are unable to understand, I will make you understand again. Right. So this part is called auricle. This complete part. It also called helix. Sound wave enter over here, and when sound wave enter, this is the external auditory canal, what we called auditory matus, right? So in this canal, sound wave enter. When enter, they collide with the tympanic membrane, which we call a curtain-like structure. While colliding to tympanic membrane, this is transferred to the bone malleus. Malleus transfer to incus, incus transfer to stipes. And as I have already mentioned that these are called ear ossicle, and these ear ossicle increase the intensity of sound 20 times, and they do not changes the frequency, right? So now these ossicles, they vibrate. After the vibration, they remains filled with these canal like structure, that is the internal ear. In internal ear, there are certain tubes, right? So the first tube is called scala vestibuli. This is the first tube. First sound wave goes to scala vestibuli, here, and they goes to next tube, that is called scala tympani, and scala tympani, and this complete part is called cochlea. From here to here, this part is called cochlea, right? And what happened? While passing through this membrane, these sound waves are colliding with a special kind of the organ which is called organ of Corti. As I have mentioned, that organ of Corti have certain cells, and these cells have some sensory hair, right? These are called sensory hair, right? Organ of Corti. In organ of Corti, there is a resiner membrane, right? In resiner membrane, there are organ of Corti, right? Organ of Corti, they have a sensory hair. These sensory hair vibrate, and after the vibration, they convert this this what to say? They convert this into signals, right? Or in the form of ionic exchange signal or ion transmission. After that, the extra sound, it passes through, this is the round type of the window. With the help of extra sound, passes through our nose part, that is the called eustachian tube. So through eustachian tube, extra sound come out, right? That's how the mechanism of listening takes place. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Let me make you more clear. You are not going to draw this diagram. In case if your school board ask you to write it down, the mechanism of listening, you are not going to write down this. You have to make the diagram what I am going to show you, because that has been made by me only. So I'll share that diagram and you have to share that diagram. That is more like better diagram. Mechanism of listening. Yes, this one. I think it must be visible to all of you. Is it visible? Clearly visible? Try to understand. You have to make this diagram. It's easy and it's better explanatory diagram. Let me make you clear. Look, the sound wave are coming. This is the auditory matters, and this is called tympanic membrane. Sound wave collide with tympanic membrane. I have shown this transmission of sound wave with the help of red color arrow. Sound wave then transfer to the, like sound waves are transferred into mechanical waves at tympanic membrane. Means tympanic membrane convert the sound wave in the form of vibration. Now vibration reaches to first of the bones, malleus, then incus, and then stapes. This cavity where air is filled, this is called tympanic cavity. Inside tympanic cavity, air is there, and extra air or extra vibration are passed out through eustachian tube, and it also maintains the pressure. We have discussed that. This stapes is fit in a structure called fenestra ovalis. Fenestra ovalis forward the vibration in the internalia. In this internal ear, there is a tube that is called scala vestibuli. In scala vestibuli, at the lower side, there is a membrane called a resonance membrane. Vibrations are passed out in scala vestibuli. Vibrations are passed out into resonance membrane. Resonance membrane vibrate, and resonance membrane forward this vibration in another tube that is called scala media. Inside scala media, there is organ of Corti. Organ of Corti have sensory hair. Sensory hair receive this vibration and convert in the form of nerve impulse. This membrane is, means organ of Corti, it is remains connected with a nerve impulse, right? Nerve that is a nerve, and it nerve transfer the nerve impulse to the brain, and that's how it reaches to the brain. The extra sound come out through this hollow window and come out through eustachian tube. That's how the mechanism of listening work, and that's how we are able to listen the things properly. Is it clear? In case if you have doubt, please ask me first. Tell me, guys, is it completely clear to all of you?
Yes, sir. Clear.
Very good. So take the screenshot, and I expect that you, after the class, you'll draw it. Leave the space for drawing the mechanism of listening. It's a clear-cut explanatory model. You won't find that much clear model. So I would like to suggest you make this diagram only. Start noting now. The sound wave collected by external ear, reaches to tympanic membrane. The sound wave collected by external ear reaches to tympanic membrane, which cause to vibrate, full stop. The vibration transmitted across middle ear, the vibration transmitted across the middle ear by malus, incus, and stapes, by malus, incus, and stapes bones. Full stop. The stapes fits into fenestra ovalis. Stapes fits into fenestra ovalis. Full stop. Next point. The perilymph of internal ear, the perilymph of internal ear, the perilymph of internal ear receive the vibration through membrane. The perilymph of internal ear receive the vibration through membrane, covering fenestra ovalis. Full stop. Now the vibration are, sorry,
Sir, after covering.
Membrane covering the fenestra ovalis. Membrane covering the fenestra ovalis. Full stop. Now the vibrations are transferred to, scala vestibuli of cochlea, scala vestibuli of cochlea, and then scala media, through resonance membrane. Full stop. The sensory hair on organ of corti, receive the vibration. Full stop. The impulses thus received by hair, are carried to brain, through auditory nerve, where sensation of listening, where sensation of hearing is recognized. Full stop. Clear to all of you?
Yes, sir.
So this was all about the chapter of neural transmission, neural conduction, control and coordination, neural control and coordination. So in case if you have doubt on any of the topic, any of the structure, so please ask right now. Then we will move in the next chapter, that is the chemical control and coordination. In case if you have doubt, please ask me right now. If you are feeling that you are unable to understand any topic, any structure, or any flowchart, please ask. No? No doubt? No confusion? Fine.
So,
Yes.
so there is nothing deleted from this chapter.
Okay. Fine.
No,
So,
sir,
yeah.
I'm asking you.
Nothing?
Is there nothing deleted from this chapter?
No, nothing deleted in this chapter. And one more important thing, that the question will be asked from eye and ear in your medical exam. You have to crystal clear with these the structures, these flow charts, and these processes which I have mentioned with you, right? So we have covered all of the topic, and these are very important part. Nothing has been deleted from this chapter. Right. So it was a small chapter, not that much big, but the last chapter is a bit larger than comparison to rest of the chapter. So that is the chemical control and coordination. We call it endocrine system, right? So let's start with the next chapter. Put the heading for the next chapter. That is chemical control and coordination. Chemical control and coordination. Chemical control and coordination. Chemical control and coordination. First, the glands and their type. Put any glands, their type. So there are basically two types of the gland. Glands are made up of glandular epithelium tissue. You know very well what are the glandular epithelium tissue. They are a modification of epithelial tissues, right? They are a type of epithelial tissue, right? So we are going to discuss the type of. Before going deep into that, before dictating that, I want to let you know what type of the glands are found in the body of animals, not only the human body of all animals. So there are basically two type of the glands in body of animal, right? So glands are those structure which are made up of glandular epithelium, and they secrete some substance, some biochemical substance. That may be enzyme, that may be hormone, right? So glands are basically two types. So glands are of, first they are called exocrine. Exocrine gland. What are the exocrine gland? Exocrine glands, they are basically called the gland with duct. Duct means pipe. Gland with duct. And duct is a Latin term. Duct means pipe, right? So the gland with the pipe. Yes, these glands have pipe, right? So basically, what are those glands? For sake of example, we have discussed liver in digestive system. We have discussed that in detail, right? So you must have seen that liver like this kind of the structure, and there was basically a duct or a pipe, and we call that duct bile duct. Yes, it was there, bile duct.
Yes,
So
sir.
this was a duct called bile duct, and bile duct, we know it used to pour a special kind of the enzyme that is called bile juice, right? And this was liver. So these are called gland with the duct because they release their secretion with the help of duct or pipe, right? And basically, exocrine gland, they secrete enzyme, secrete enzyme. And what are the enzyme? We have discussed all these things in detail, right? Already we have discussed. Next, the second kind of the gland, they are basically called endocrine. Endocrine gland, they do not have any duct, right? So they are called ductless gland. because they do not secrete their hormone with the help of duct. So they are called actually ductless gland. Ductless gland. So these are the ductless. So what these ductless gland actually do? These ductless gland, they secrete secretion. They secrete secretion in blood. So they directly release that secretory substance into blood, and it reaches where they are required, right? And what they actually do, they secrete basically hormone. So they secrete hormone. So in the nutshell, if you ask me broadly what are the exocrine gland, I will say the exocrine gland are those glands which basically secrete the enzyme, and endocrine glands are those glands which secrete the hormone. Again, the endocrine glands are basically of two types. Again, we can divide them into two types. The one type of endocrine gland, they are called holocrine. Holocrine gland. Holocrine gland are ductless gland, and they have only one function. What is that function? They exclusively secrete hormone. That is, they do not have exclusively secrete hormone. That is, they do not have any function. Then another one, they are called heterocrine. Heterocrine gland are those glands which have other function as well other than secretion of the hormone. Why? They are other function other than secretion of hormone. Secretion of hormone. What are those examples? Let me make you understand. For sake of example, we have discussed already the pancreas, right? So pancreas is, it also have a duct, but pancreas have two functions. First, exocrine function is secrete enzyme, pancreatic enzyme, right? And the second function, it secrete hormone as well. So it have two functions. It secrete hormone as well as it secrete enzyme. So there are two functions. That's why this is called heterocrine. Let me make you understand one more. That is the ovary. What is the function of ovary? Ovary have two functions. First, it secrete hormone, and second, it also secrete ovum. So it secrete egg. So that is the also heterocrine. So these are the types of. Please note it down. Clear? Then I will dictate the same thing. Clear to all of you? Yes, guys?
Yes, sir.
Please
Yes.
note it down. Note it down, and then I will explain. So did you guys got your date sheet for the examination? Yes, Minashi?
Sir?
Date sheet for the examination, your final examination?
No, sir. They said March first week.
March 1st week. Okay.
Yes.
Atif, what's about you? Any idea? Atif, Samaira,
Sorry, sir.
Mazia?
Can you repeat?
Did you got the date sheet for examination or
For final
approximate
examination?
final examination? Yes,
No, sir, not yet.
not yet. Okay. Samaira?
Same, sir. Even I didn't get.
Okay. So don't have any idea.
So maybe by end of February.
Maybe by end of February. Okay. What about you, Mazia? Oh, your message. Okay, you didn't do. Means, should I consider it like the last week of the Feb? So no issue. We are at the end of the human physiology. Like today or in the first half of next class, we'll complete this chapter. Then we have to go. We have to do the plant physiology as well. Right?
Yes, sir.
Fine. So plant physiology, there are only 5 chapters, and there are 2 chapters are very smaller chapter. So broadly, we can consider there are in total 4 chapters. So we'll cover before the examination. Like I think we must we should cover till just a minute. I think we'll cover it by the. I'll try to cover it by the 15th of Feb. And, 15th or 20th Feb, we'll complete this syllabus. Complete syllabus. We'll do the complete syllabus, right? So need not to worry. But what you have to do, keep on revising all the parts of the animal physiology or human physiology, what we did, and keep on asking me if you have any doubt. Clear your doubt right now. Don't leave it for the last classes, right? Please note down, then I'll explain.
Done, sir.
Done? Okay. Start writing. The exocrine glands are the gland with the duct, full stop. Exocrine glands are called gland with duct, full stop. Their secretion is carried through duct to a particular organ. Their secretion is carried through duct to a particular organ. Carried through duct to a particular organ. For some metabolic activity. For some metabolic activity. Example, salivary gland. Next, endocrine gland are called ductless gland. Endocrine glands are called ductless gland. They are also known as gland of internal secretion. They are also known as gland of internal secretion. Full stop. Continue in the same point. Their secretion is directly released into blood. Their secretion is directly released into blood and it is called hormone. Their secretion is directly released into blood and it is called hormone. Next point, now write the definition of hormones. Hormones are non-nutrient chemical. Hormones are non-nutrient chemicals. Hormones are non-nutrient chemicals which act as intercellular messenger, which act as intercellular messenger and are produced in trace amount and are produced in trace amount.
So can you repeat, are produced in?
Produced in blood, non-nutrient chemical which act as intercellular are produced in trace amount. Are produced in trace amount. Next point. The endocrine gland which secrete only hormone are called the endocrine gland which secrete only hormone are called holocrine gland. The endocrine gland which secrete only hormone are called holocrine gland, like adrenal gland, like adrenal, thyroid, etc. Like adrenal, thyroid, etc. Next point. The gland which secrete hormone, the gland which secrete hormone and having some other functions, the gland which secrete hormone and having some other functions are called heterocrine gland. Example, pancreas, testis, example, pancreas, testis, etc. There is some more important point. Please put a note. The first hormone was discovered by William M. Bellis. William M. Bellis and Ernest H. Starling in 1903. Full stop. The term hormone was introduced by Starling. The term hormone was introduced by Starling. Next paragraph. Now, what is the chemical nature of hormone? What can be hormone? So, put a small heading, chemical nature of hormone. Do you know what is the chemical nature of enzyme? Chemical nature of hormone. What are the chemical enzyme chemically? Come on, guys. We have already done the cell biology and all that. Biomolecule. Hey, come on, guys. I have already told you that all enzymes are protein, but all proteins are not enzymes. So enzymes are made up of only protein. Don't forget all these points. Very important. It's very common point, right? They're very basic point actually. So they may be amino acid derivative, amino acid derivative, acid derivative. They may be protein hormones. They may be protein hormones. They may be idothyronin, idothyronin. They may be idothyronin. They may be steroid. They may be steroid. They may be amino derivative. They may be protein hormone. They may be idothyronin. They may be steroid. So these are the chemical nature of. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So one more important thing which is important for your school examination. So I want to tell you the difference between hormone and enzyme. It's not that much important for your medical examination. They may ask you, I do not deny with that sometime in one fine day when the question will be in your favor, that if they are asking the simple question, then they may ask you that what is the chemical, what is the difference between the enzyme and hormone. But basically, what I assume that this is this question for your school examination, exclusively for your school examination. When 3-marker question, descriptive question, they can ask you what is the difference between the define the or mention the difference between the enzyme and hormone. So please jot it down some of the 4 or 5 differences between the enzyme and hormone. So enzyme versus hormone. What is the difference between, right? So first one, hormones. They have low molecular weight. They have low molecular weight. And enzymes, hormone, they have low molecular weight. An enzyme, they have very high, molecular weight. They have very high molecular weight. Next, in hormone, they may be steroid, peptide, or amino derivative, So the hormones may be steroid, peptide, or amino derivative. But in enzyme, as we have discussed, they all are simple protein. They all are simple protein. So enzymes are basically made up of simple protein. Third difference, they act slowly or quickly. They act slowly or quickly. Next, so what about the enzymes? They are slow. Fourth point, in hormone, they accelerate or retardate. They accelerate or retardate. Specific reaction. They accelerate or retardate specific reaction. And in enzyme, they just speed up reaction. Means they accelerate the reaction. They speed up reaction. Fifth point, in hormone, the hormone controlled reactions are not reversible. The hormone controlled reaction are not reversible. Fifth, the enzyme controlled reactions are reversible. The enzyme controlled reactions are reversible. Put a note. I want to ask you, what is the role of vitamins? Can anybody of you tell me what is the roles of vitamins? Vitamins are called actually coenzymes. They support the enzyme during their function. That's why vitamins are needed for our body. Please note it down. Vitamins act as coenzyme. Vitamins act as coenzyme and help enzyme. Vitamins act as coenzyme and help enzyme to perform their function. Clear? All point clear? So this is the difference. This is 3-marker question for your school examination, right? And now put the next heading, that is the human endocrine system. I will show you a diagram and I'll show you the human endocrine system, which gland found where. Endocrine. Look, this is the diagram for the human endocrine system. Which hormone is secreted from what part? So we can understand from this diagram. Yes. So look, this is our endocrine system from where the enzymes are being secreted. Look, so first and foremost, the gland, that is the gland which we have, that is called hypothalamus gland. So hypothalamus is the first gland, right? Hypothalamus, it secrete many number of the enzymes, hormones have been mentioned over here. Hypothalamus gland is situated at the top, right? Below the hypothalamus gland, there is called pituitary gland. Both function in coordination with each other. Pituitary gland, as we all know, since our 10th class, we have studied that this is called master gland, because this gland control all the rest of the gland of endocrine system. It is the control system of the rest of the gland. But hypothalamus gland work accordingly in suggestion with the hypothalamus gland. Hypothalamus gland work on feedback mechanism. What is feedback mechanism? Try to understand with the example. Feedback mechanism. What is feedback mechanism? This is the pancreas, and in blood there is glucose. Suppose that we eat too much and the glucose level increases in our blood. What will happen? Hypothalamus will get the sense that the blood is the glucose is rising in the blood. Hypothalamus will ask pituitary gland to order the pancreas release of insulin. So hypothalamus gland get the feedback from the blood that sugar is increasing. On the basis of that feedback, hypothalamus give suggestion to pituitary gland. Pituitary gland will order to pancreas and it will release insulin, right? So now the insulin will be released and it will convert it into, right? It will convert into that is glycogen. After that, when the function is over and sugar is balanced, now it may decrease. So what will happen? Hypothalamus will again get the feedback that sugar is balanced, and then again it get the feedback and it gives suggestion to pituitary gland. Pituitary gland will give order what to pancreas to switch off the insulin. So switch on and switch off the insulin is controlled by the pituitary, but pituitary is working on the suggestion of hypothalamus and hypothalamus is working on the feedback mechanism. Is it clear or not?
Yes,
Feedback
sir.
mechanism? Very good. Next is the pineal gland. Pineal gland is actually called biological clock. So it shed all the biological phenomena. This is called biological clock. And it is responsible for sleeping. We will study in detail. Next, in the neck region, we have thyroid gland. It releases the thyroxine, and that is T3, T4 collectively called thyroxine, and these are called growth hormone. It is responsible for our growth. Below the thyroid gland, there is a gland called thymus. Thymus gland is that gland which changes its shape or changes its size according to our age. And actually, this is the gland which is responsible for maintaining the immunity of our body. This is thymus gland. Next, liver is also a gland. Stomach also have some glandular substances. We have already discussed liver and stomach, so we are not going to discuss liver and stomach. Now come to the pancreas. Pancreas is heterocrine gland. It function as secretion of enzyme as well as hormone, insulin, glucagon, somatostatin. Then there is adrenal gland. Adrenal gland is found at the top of the kidney, right? And it secretes adrenaline, which control various functions. Kidney is not only the excretory organ, but it also secretes many hormones like renin, erythropoietin, and these hormones are responsible for the formation, reabsorption of sodium, and that is formation of the blood during emergency situation and all that. After the kidney, our sex organ are also working as the secretory glands. So uterus and ovary and placenta. Placenta formation takes place at the time of the pregnancy, but other than pregnancy, ovaries work as the heterocrine gland and it secretes certain hormones, right? Those hormones which are responsible for the formation of ova and maturation of the sex organ. Next, there is a testis. Testis is also a gland that produces the hormone which are responsible for sperm formation and maturity of the gonads. Uterus, the uterus is also a gland which secrete particular kind of the hormone during the birth. These hormones are called birth hormone, prolactin and relaxation, right? So this is the endocrine system of human. Take the screenshot and please draw at your notebook. Right? Clear? Now I will start the gland, like making you understand the gland one by one, and the sequence will be based on the NCERT only, right? So put the first heading, hypothalamus gland. So first gland is hypothalamus. The function of hypothalamus I have already discussed, and hypothalamus gland. Pituitary and hypothalamus will mention in coordination because they both are working in coordination with each other. Look, the formation of hormone takes place in hypothalamus, but thalamus itself do not secrete hormone. Hypothalamus produces the hormone, and the hormone of hypothalamus secreted by hypothalamus are produced by or secreted with the help of produced in hypothalamus are secreted with the help of posterior pituitary. So this is the hypothalamus, and this part is called posterior. So till here, this is the hypothalamus. This part is posterior pituitary, this part is anterior pituitary, and this is the intermediate lobe. So pituitary is divided into three parts: anterior, intermediate, and posterior part. So the hypothalamus itself do not release the hormone. Whether I have already mentioned you that the hypothalamus is responsible for the feedback mechanism, and it work on the basis of feedback mechanism, right? So start writing the hypothalamus first. Hypothalamus is present. This part of the base of the brain is called thalamus, right? Thalamus. Hypothalamus is present below the thalamus. Hypothalamus is present below the thalamus. Full stop. It provides anatomical connection. It provides, so thalamus is part of brain and pituitary is part of chemical coordination. It provides connection between nervous and endocrine system. It provides connection between nervous and endocrine system. Next, its hormone influences the pituitary gland. Its hormone influences the pituitary gland. Full stop. This is called control center of supreme commander. And who is supreme commander? That is pituitary. It is called control center of supreme commander. Full stop. It secretes 9 different hormones. It secretes 9 different hormones.
Sir, can you say some control center?
Control center of supreme commander. It secretes 9 different hormones. What are those hormones? Neurohormones. Next, corticotropin releasing hormone. Corticotropin releasing hormone. Next one is thyrotropin releasing hormone. Thyrotropin releasing hormone. Next one is growth hormone releasing hormone. Growth hormone releasing hormone. Next, gonadotropin releasing hormone. Gonadotropin releasing hormone. Next, prolactin releasing hormone. Prolactin releasing hormone. Next, prolactin inhibiting hormone. Prolactin inhibiting hormone. Next one is MSH releasing hormone. MSH releasing hormone. And MSH inhibiting hormone. Look, the releasing hormone will cause release of that hormone. Inhibiting hormone will cause the stop of that hormone. That's it. Right? That is their function. For example, thyrotropin releasing hormone will ask thyroid gland to release thyrotropin. Thyrotropin inhibiting hormone will ask thyrotropin ask to stop the secretion of thyrotropin. That is their function. Clear?
Yes.
Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this was hypothalamus gland. Now the next gland is next is pituitary gland. Yes, this is pituitary gland, right? So we have to, like, we can cover the same thing for no. Just put the second heading, pituitary gland. I'll tell you. The second. So second gland is PITUI. Pituitary gland. We have already seen the diagram. Put the same diagram. This is better diagram. So same diagram will have same diagram. This is better diagram than others one. So pituitary gland. Note it down. It is located below hypothalamus. It is located below hypothalamus. Next, this is the smallest endocrine gland. This is the smallest endocrine gland with 1.3 centimeter in diameter, 1.3 centimeter in diameter, and 0.5 gram in weight, and 0.5 gram in weight. Next, it have two lobes. It have two lobes. Sorry, it have three lobes. It have three lobes. Anterior, intermediate, and posterior. Anterior, intermediate, and posterior. So first heading will be, it have three lobes. First heading will be anterior lobe. Anterior lobe releases the following hormone. So first one is growth hormone. Growth hormone is also called somatotropin hormone. Somatotropin hormone. Growth hormone is also known as somatotropin hormone. In short, we call them STH or GH. STH or GH. STH or GH. Right? Write it down here. It promotes the protein metabolism and calcium absorption. It promotes the protein metabolism and calcium absorption. It promotes the protein metabolism, growth hormone, right, and calcium absorption. Next, so the second hormone is, the first hormone was GH or STH. Now the second hormone is thyroid stimulating hormone, TSH. Thyroid stimulating hormone. So thyroid stimulating hormone or TSH or thyrotropin, TSH or thyrotropin. Thyroid stimulating hormone, TSH or thyrotropin. Note it down. It controls the growth and activity of thyroid gland. It controls the growth and activity of thyroid gland. It influences the uptake of iodine. Next is adrenocorticotropic hormone. Adrenocorticotropic hormone. Note it down. ACTH. In short, it is called ACTH. ACTH, as it is written over here, ACTH. Right. It stimulates the adrenal gland. It stimulates the adrenal gland. Fourth, prolactin hormone or PRL. Prolactin hormone. So prolactin is also called PRL or mammotropin hormone or mammotropin hormone. Mammotropin hormone. It is called hormones of maternity. It is called hormones of maternity. Responsible for, it is called hormones of maternity. Responsible for secretion of mammary gland. Responsible for secretion of mammary gland during childbirth. Responsible for secretion of mammary gland during childbirth. Next, fifth one is gonadotropin hormone. Gonadotropin hormone. From the name itself, it reflects that they are responsible for maturation of gonad, right? So these are two hormones, FSH, that is follicle stimulating hormone, which is responsible for follicle stimulating hormone, which is responsible for growth of sperm and ova, which is responsible for growth of sperm and ova.
Sir, can you repeat from the first?
Yes, gonadotropin hormone. These are two hormones. FSH, follicle stimulating hormone, which is responsible for growth of ova and sperm. Growth of ova and sperm. Full stop. LH, luteinizing hormone. Luteinizing hormone. Luteinizing hormone. LH. It stimulates the secretion of progesterone and androgen. It stimulates the secretion of progesterone and androgen. Right? Secretion of progesterone and androgen. Next, hormones of intermediate lobe. So these were the hormones from the anterior lobe. Now next main heading is hormone of intermediate lobe. Hormones of intermediate lobe. Out of these hormone of intermediate lobe, it secrete melanotropin or melanocyte. It secrete melanotropin or melanocyte stimulating hormone. In short, we call it MSH. It secretes melanotropin or melanocyte stimulating hormone. Let's stop. It is responsible for giving color to skin of human. It is responsible for giving color to skin of human and other animals. Next is third part, that is hormone of posterior pituitary, right? So the first third part is hormones of posterior Now, what are the hormones of posterior pituitary? Note it down. These hormones are known as pituitary. These hormones are known as pituitary. Full stop. Actually, the posterior pituitary releases those hormones. Actually, posterior pituitary releases those hormones which are secreted by hypothalamus. Actually, posterior pituitary releases those hormones which are secreted by posterior pituitary releases those hormones which are secreted by hypothalamus. These are basically two hormones. A, oxytocin. It causes contraction of uterine muscle. It causes contraction of uterine muscles. Full stop. Its role is its role is important during the birth. Hence, this is called birth. This is called birth hormone and milk ejecting hormone and milk ejecting hormone. Let me make you more clear that these oxytocin hormone is responsible for contraction of uterine. So when uterus contract, it pushes the pressure, and because of the contraction of uterus, the baby is pushed outside and birth takes place. The birth of any baby is called parturition. We will study in detail in class 12 in this chapter of human reproduction. The second part, after the birth of baby, the lady who gives birth to a baby, mammary glands become active because that the milk feeding of the young ones, right? So oxytocin hormone also responsible for ejection or secretion of the milk from the mammary gland, so that the young one could be feed, right? So that is the uh, function of oxytocin hormone, right? The next hormone is the next hormone that is secreted here is ADH, antidiuretic hormone. So before mentioning this hormone, I also want to tell you that what is the ADH. The full form of ADH, it's very popular, it's very important as well. Full form of ADH is antidiuretic hormone. Antidiuretic hormone. What is the antidiuretic hormone? Antidiuretic hormone actually it protect us during the situation when we do not get an ample amount enough water to drink. Suppose that we are thirsty and we did not get water. So what they do, they reduces the rate of urine formation. By reducing the rate of so then ADH starts secreting. ADH reduces the rate of urine formation, and by this way it conserves the water of the body, and hence the what a person can survive for longer time, right? So they protect us during the time of the water scarcity. Please note it down. ADH is also known as vasopressin. ADH is also known as vasopressin. ADH is also known as vasopressin. It increases the reabsorption of water from nephron. It increases the reabsorption of water from nephron, and it protect body at the time of water scarcity. It protect body at the time of water scarcity. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine, very good. Now what is the next one? Just a minute. The hormones of pituitary gland. Then it's pineal gland. Yes, a small tiny gland that is called pineal gland. So pineal gland, as I have told you, we call it the biological clock of our body, right? So what is the biological clock? So next heading should be the pineal gland. Third one is pineal. Look, this is the situation of pineal gland, right? This is the actually where it is situated. This is the pineal gland. So pineal gland is like very less functions are known. It is considered at a biological clock. What is the biological clock? Biological clock is that kind of the situation, or it's a rhythm of 24 hours, right? So even suppose that we have been kept in such a room where no watch or no nothing is to assume the time or to get know the time, and there is nothing to know the either it's day or night. So still in that room we will wake up at the morning and we will sleep at the night, right? So that is the situation of biological clock, right? Biological clock controls the day and night situation of our body. So suppose that we are living in any country and we move to the, suppose that I'm living in India and I have to go to USA. So whenever I will go to USA, the timeline will change. Like date line will, I will cross the date line. When I will cross the date line, then the day here will be night over there, and the day night over here is day over there, right? My biological clock will get disturbed. Even on that time, I will feel hungry at the night time over in USA, and I will feeling sleepy at the time or at the daytime, and I will feel a sicky kind of feeling. So that is called jet lag. So because my biological clock got disturbed, and after 15 days, my biological clock will reset again, and I will uh, adopt the situation or biological clock of that country, right? So this is the function of pineal gland. One more important thing, pineal gland. So first I told you that this is the biological clock. First, it is biological clock. Second is that it secretes a hormone, and the name of hormone is melatonin. Melatonin. So what is the function of melatonin hormone? Actually, melatonin hormone is called sleeping hormone. Sleeping hormone. Uh, Pineal gland is considered as photosensitive. Photosensitive gland. Why we call it photosensitive gland? Because it is affected, influenced by, or affected by the light, right? So it get the light and get affected. So at the dim light situation, the secretion starts over here. At the high light situation, secretion hardly takes place. So the secretion is promoted by the dim light, means the dark condition. At the dark situation, it starts secreting the melatonin. Melatonin causes sleeping. If melatonin is secreted, then we'll feel sleepy. If melatonin is not secreted, then we won't feel sleepy, right? So that is the two functions of melanin, pineal gland. Is it clear?
Yes.
Please note it down. It is 0.1 to 0.2 gram in weight. It is 0.1 to 0.2 gram in weight. Next point. It is located between the cerebral hemisphere. It is located between the cerebral hemispheres. Full stop. Next point. It is known to secrete. It is known to secrete melatonin hormone. It is known to secrete melatonin hormone, comma, which is called a sleeping hormone. Which is called a sleeping hormone. Full stop. The hormone promote the sleep. The hormone promote the sleep, and its secretion increases in dim light. The hormone promotes the sleep, and its secretion increases in dim light. Next point. Because of light mediated response, because of light mediated response, the pineal hormone or pineal gland, because of light mediated response, pineal hormone or pineal gland is called biological clock. Is called biological clock. which produces circadian rhythm, which produces circadian rhythm.
So can you write this here?
Circadian, yes. Circadian means sun cycle actually. The time duration of 24 hours. Yes. Circadian rhythm. That is 24-hour, sorry, 24-hour duration. Circadian, right? So the next one is, or what is the next one according to, that is the thyroid gland. Yes.
So please can you show that diagram?
Yeah, sure. Please.
Done, sir.
Okay. Next is thyroid gland. Yes. Thyroid. Where is thyroid? This is the actually diagram of thyroid. Look. This is thyroid gland, right? Above the trachea. And below the thyroid cartilage and above the trachea. This question had been asked where the thyroid gland is situated. So the answer was below, above the thyroid cartilage, right? At the dorsal side of thyroid cartilage, right? To keep the position in your mind, that is important for your medical examination. So look, what this thyroid gland secrete. Thyroid gland have two type of this stuff, right? So thyroid gland have a certain these vesicle like structure, right? So these are called thyroid gland. These structures are called thyroid follicles. These are called thyroid follicles. So thyroid follicles are found in thyroid gland. What actually they secrete? They secrete T3 and T4. T3 and T4. T3 and T4 are collectively called thyroxine. Now, what is the thyroxine? Is a composition or it's a hormone of iodine, or it's a compound of iodine. What is T3? T3 is actually triiodothyronine. Triiodothyronine. What is the T4? T4 is actually tetraiodo. So there are two hormones, T3 and T4. Collectively, they are called thyroxine, right? And other than thyroxine, there are some other cells over here which are also found. So these are small spherical cells, globular cells. These cells are called actually C cells. The function of C cells, what actually they secrete, is not exactly known, but they are responsible for secretion of thyrocalcitonin. So in the nutshell, there are three hormones which are being secreted from the thyroid gland: thyrocalcitonin and triiodothyronine and tetraiodothyronine, right? So please first take this screenshot or note it down. Then draw this small diagram. Then I will make you to write it down. Noted?
Yes, sir. Learn.
Please start noting down. This is the largest endocrine gland. This is the largest endocrine gland located on, this is the largest endocrine gland located on anterior to thyroid cartilage, anterior to thyroid cartilage of larynx. Next point is very important, and please make a star and note it down. This is the only gland, this is the only gland, this is the only gland that store hormone, that store hormone for 2 months. This is the only gland that store hormone for 2 months. Next point. It secrete thyroxine, that is mixture of triiodothyronine and tetraiodothyronine, which are secreted by thyroid follicle. Let's stop. T3 and T4 are collectively called, T3 and T4 are collectively called thyroxine. T3 and T4 are collectively called thyroxine. The function of thyroxine are following. The function of thyroxine are following. So now note it down, the function of thyroxine. Function of thyroxine. Put a small heading, function of thyroxine. First, it regulate, put in the form of note points, bullet. It regulate metabolic rate, it regulate metabolic rate of body, it regulate metabolic rate of body. Next, they stimulate, next point, they stimulate protein synthesis, they stimulate protein synthesis. Next, they regulate development of mental faculty, they regulate development of mental faculty. Next, they increase heat production, they increase heat production, thus maintain the increased heat production that maintain body temperature. They increase heat production, thus maintain body temperature. Next, they are responsible for, this question have been asked, please make a star. They are responsible for metamorphosis of frog tadpole. The question was that if a water is deficient in iodine, what will happen with the frog tadpole? And the answer is metamorphosis will not take place. Why? If iodine is absent in external water, then iodine uptake will not take place in frog tadpole, and formation of thyroxine will not take place, and then the metamorphosis will not take place. Right? That's how they ask the question. Next, the next hormone is thyrocalcitonin. Note it down. Thyrocalcitonin is secreted by C cells. It is secreted when calcium level. It is secreted when calcium level is high in blood. It is secreted when calcium level is high in blood. Full stop. It lowers the calcium level. It lowers the calcium level by suppressing the calcium release from bone. It lowers the calcium level by suppressing the calcium ion from bone. Now next is thyroid disorders. Thyroid disorders. Right. So out of these thyroid disorder, so these are very important. So first thyroid disorder is hyperthyroidism. So what is hyper? Hyper means more secretion, right? So the first is hyperthyroidism. Hyperthyroidism means over secretion of thyroid. This is also called exophthalmic goiter. It is also called exophthalmic goiter. Exophthalmic goiter, or it is also called grave disease. Many names. Grave disease. It is also called Basedow disease. Same. Basedow disease. Grave disease, Basedow disease, exophthalmic goiter, or Perry's disease. All these diseases are the same thing. That is hyperthyroidism, means oversecretion of thyroid. It is characterized by protrusion of eyeball, means the person will look like gazing you, right? It is characterized by protrusion of eyeball because protrusion of eyeball because fluid, 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 protrusion of eyeb Fluid accumulate behind eyes. Causes rapid heartbeat, nervousness, and restlessness. Rapid heartbeat, nervousness, and restlessness. Next, second disease, hypothyroidism. Hypo means less secretion. Hypothyroidism. So hypothyroidism can be of different type, right? There are a number of the types. So due to hypothyroidism means due to less secretion, the first disease caused in infants, that is called cretinism. Write it down. Cretinism in infant means if secretion do not takes place at the younger stage or infant stage, then it causes cretinism. What is the cretinism? Have slow body growth, slow body and mental development. Slow body and mental development. Full stop. It reduces metabolic rate. It reduces metabolic rate.
Sir, can you tell from slow body growth?
Slow body and mental development or mental growth. So slow body and mental growth. Full stop. It reduces metabolic rate. Stunned body growth, stunned body growth, and reduced sexual development. Stunned body growth and reduced sexual development. So the next disease is called simple goiter. Simple goiter. In exophthalmic goiter in neighbor one, the eyes protruded out, right? And the simple goiter, that is that this neck part gets swollen, right? Simple goiter. It is caused by deficiency of iodine. It is caused by deficiency of iodine, which is needed for the synthesis of thyroid. Full stop. It causes thyroid enlargement. It causes thyroid enlargement.
Sir, can you repeat from the first?
Sure. It is caused by deficiency of iodine. It is caused by deficiency of iodine, which is needed for synthesis of thyroid. Full stop. It causes thyroid enlargement. Put the next heading parathyroid gland, which we will discuss in next class, right? So if you have any doubt, please ask me out of the thing, whatever we have studied today. In case if you have doubt, please ask me.
So, why does this thyroid gland store hormone for 2 months?
Actually, the secretion is very slow, right? So that's why it store the hormone for future, right? So the secretion is very slow and it accumulate the hormone in thyroid gland and keep on secreting. That is the reason behind it, nothing else, right? And this is it is required in very like trace amount, small amount, right, for the body. Clear?
Yes, okay.
Any more doubt, question? No? So, you know, most probably we will finish this chapter in next class, means we'll finish the human physiology in next class. So, as we are continue with the human physiology, and then we will start with the plant physiology. So, I do suggest all of you, please keep on revising all of the chapter, all of the concept, whatever we have studied in the previous class. It should be in your mind, it should be in your tip, right? Okay,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
fine. So, bye bye. Take care. Good night, and see you in next class on Saturday. We'll start with the parathyroid gland, and hopefully we'll finish this chapter in next class, right? And human physiology will be finished in next class. Bye. So,
Thank
till the time. Bye bye. Good night. Take care.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome. Welcome.